Well, certainly for the service here, it's made us more efficient. Like all services, we're under pressure. We do have a waiting list. And if we can somehow reduce that waiting list by being more efficient. Previous to this, it would have been hours and hours of clinical time. Obviously, clinicians' time is valuable, so the more we can do, then the better. My name's Chris Jarvis. I'm an occupational therapist by profession. And I've been a wheelchair service manager for Shropshire Wheelchair and Posture Service for the last 20 years. We're based here at the Shropshire Rehabilitation Centre in Shrewsbury. We have on our records around 8,500 wheelchair users that we see, who we give a service to. One area that we decided to look at was the time it takes to do a powered wheelchair assessment. So prior to bringing in the change that we brought in, what we were doing, and I think this is fairly common for a lot of the services in the country, is doing, from point of referral, doing an initial assessment at the patient's home. Now, this comprised of A, checking that they are eligible, and B, looking at the environment in which the wheelchair is going to be used. Following that, then it would be another wait for the patient, whilst a clinic appointment is organised here at the rehabilitation centre, so that we can then seat them in the chosen chair, in an assessment chair, try them out indoors, take them outside on our test track and on the pavement, and all assuming that went well, then the next thing would be an order, a prescription filled in. That would then have to be ordered, yet another wait, and then it would then after that, once the equipment is in, another appointment being made at the home to actually hand over the wheelchair, set it up for the patient, and go through all the features and trial it out again.
Now, each step has its own lead time for a clinic, which could be in excess of 6 months. So from beginning to end, you could be talking a total process of 18 plus months. It was decided that this was a very complicated and unwieldy process, and we looked at ways of improving it.
So we decided that what we would do is try and kill quite a few birds with one stone and do a one-stop shop.
Now, the referral still comes in the same way as it always has done, but we have a decision tree, and that tree is applied to the referral, and that at the end of that will give you an idea of what chair will be suitable for that client. That chair can then be prepared, the visit booked, and then on the day that chair can be taken from stock, put onto a van, and then we go out in the van to the client's home. Start the assessment exactly as we used to do. I have a chat, ascertain whether they're eligible for service, is the home environment suitable? And
if all that goes well, then we take the chair out, put the patient in it, give them some instructions, and that's when the assessment begins. They're, obviously indoors, take them outdoors if that's where they want to go. If they've got somewhere specific that they want to go to, it might be the local shops, then we will take them on a route that is much more realistic because it's within their environment, and bring them back, and if everybody is happy, then that wheelchair is issued on the day, and we leave with an empty van. Just saying it's obvious it's far more efficient than it was. The patients are generally very surprised when you say, well, we can leave this chair with you. Very surprised and very pleased.
It's shock is the main thing. No one expects someone from a wheelchair service to turn up on a day and finish on that day. Historically, it's always been a long drawn process for everything, involving numerous assessments. Now, it's one assessment. As far as the client is aware, because they don't see the triage, all they see is that we turn up on the day that's being booked and we leave and they've got a chair.
It means that they don't have these constant stop and start where they think they're going to get something and then it's, well, no, there's another stage to go through, and then there's another stage to go through. You're actually in a much more realistic surroundings because you're in your own home, not in, a clinic setting, and so you can actually experience the pothole that is down the road and how to avoid it, because that's what we're there for, to give them that confidence. And yes, it's nice. I personally have been involved in quite a lot of them, and it is so nice to see when it goes well, especially when they get to the destination that they've been wanting to get to for a few months and they've never been able to get there.
Since receiving the wheelchair, the overall service has been very good. I've had my assessment fairly quickly, and we drove around the local roads in Shrewsbury and was shown how to go up and down ramps properly and carefully and to avoid obstacles in the path. So I can imagine that having to have a number of visits from an assessor and then fitting up a number of appointments at a centre could really delay the whole process and put a great strain on the staff. So that the more streamlined the service can be made, the better.
We needed to see if we had made a difference, and just very roughly we looked at, on average, how much time would have been spent by the service dealing with these powered wheelchair assessments. So I've sort of just roughly calculated that in order to complete that period of work would take around 12 hours, including wheelchair therapist time, rehabilitation engineering time, repair service time and admin time. What we've now got is roughly around 3 to 4 hours, which includes travel, includes the assessment, includes the delivery, includes the admin time.